Right, we can go. Yes. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom to you who are online tonight with us for this Erev Shabbat service. So I'm going to ask Fleur to light the Shabbat candles for us, please. Okay, which page? Okay, let's say page 75. And I can see that Michelle, Sandra, and Deborah are online today. So Shabbat Shalom to you. Please stand. There's a weird sound, no?
You should call the Sabbath a delight. These lights we kindle are a symbol of joy. May their brightness lift our spirits and fill our hearts with happiness and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Erev Shabbat.
Amen. Please be seated. Rebecca, what's this sound? Can you hear that? Or is it me? I see the system. The speaker, yes. Okay, page 76. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Turn to page 78. Souls, beloved, source of mercy, draw your servant to your will. Let me live like a deer, to stand in awe before your glory. Your love is sweeter than the taste of honey. Yedi nefesh avarachaman meshor chavdecha el retzonecha. ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל, ישתחווה אל מול הדרך, ירב לו ידידותיך מנופת צוף וכל טעם la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la la. Igalena ufos haviv alai, esuka sheloma, ta'ires mikevodecha, nagila v'nismecha, ma'erahu hivamoed v'choneinu ki me'olam. Yalalai la la la, 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 yalalai la 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 la, yalalai yalalai la la la, yalalai la la la, yalalai la 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 la, yalalai yalalai la la, yalalai la la la, yalalai la 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 la. So we turn to page 88, and we read responsibly. There are days when we seek material things and measure favor of what we do not own. On this Sabbath we wish not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed. On this Sabbath we stand and wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when you think only of ourselves. On this Sabbath we open our hearts to the needs and rights of others. Mizmoshir leyom haShabbat, tov leodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, le'agi b'boker hasdecha, ve'emunatecha b'leilot, alei yasov v'aleina, ve'alei gayon ve'inot, mizmoshim leyom haShabbat, tov leodot Adonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ki simat raki Adonai be'oalecha, be'ma'aseh yadecha haranen, ma'anu ma'aseh Adonai me'od, ameku ma'ashevotecha, mizmoshim leyom haShabbat, tov leodot Adonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon. The righteous shall flourish like the palm, grow tall like the cedar of Lebanon, planted in the house of the Eternal One. They shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall see their fruit in old age. They shall ever be fresh and green, proclaiming that God is just, and my rock, in whom there is no flaw. Page 91. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו, אל המיוחד אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת, ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נצוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורר, קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please stand and face the door. בואי בשלום, עטרת בלט גם בשמחה, ובצולה תוך אמונה, עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Page 92. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Please be seated. And we say together, we praise you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on being, whose wisdom opens every gate, whose understanding changes times and seasons, whose will set the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, to make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night, to rule the host of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall. Avat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Beta, Amecha Beta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu, ufkumenu nasiach bechukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ונגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבת אל תסור ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. 94. Please stand. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשורבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך. והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please be seated. Let's read together. All this behold to be true and sure, you alone, eternal one, are our God, and we are Israeli people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted the rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace, guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake our help. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. God of our going out and our coming in, but now and always, we may have life and peace. We praise you, O God. May your shelter and peace be upon us and all who dwell on earth. So please take the Yamidah that Ella gave you earlier. So we're going to sing first Adonai Sfatai Tifta together and read the Hebrew and the English. Please stand. Adonai Sfatai Tifta ופיה כי תהילתך. Eternal God, open my lips, my mouth may declare your praise. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, קונה שמיים וארץ, מגן אבות ואימהות בדברו, מחיה הכל במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, ליבם רצה להניח להם, לפניו לעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעון הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת, ומברך שביעי מניח בקדושי לעם מדושני עונה, זכר למעשה וראשית. Blessed are you, eternal our God, and God of those who came before us, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel and God of Leah. Great, mighty and revered God, God transcendent, maker of heaven and earth. With a word you shielded our ancestors, with a phrase you give all things life. Sacred God, beyond compare, you took joy in providing rest for your people on a holy Shabbat day. We will serve you reverently, acknowledging on each and every day forever just who you are, the one to whom blessing goes, the one to whom thanksgiving is due. Source of peace, we recall the time of creation by sanctifying Shabbat, blessing the seventh day, and in holiness, granting rest for people, overflowing with joy. Baruch atah Adonai, Hosei HaShalom, blessed are you, eternal, the source of peace. O Hosei Shalom b'mromav, Uyase Shalom Aleinu Mesit ve'al kol Israel ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Yase Shalom, Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'yase Shalom, Yase Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol bnei Adam. Yes. How do you think it's that? That's it. Oh, you should have told me before. I would have done it happily before. Yeah.
I've only just had the advice for it.
Okay.
From
But
being outside.
good. So, having this kind of background noise all the time is a bit annoying.
It's like tinnitus. I know what you know how we feel.
Why? Do you think I'm making a noise like this when I speak?
Tinnitus.
Tinnitus. Yes, yeah. No, I thought when you listen to the rabbi, it feels a bit like. Shabbat shalom. So on the Shabbat we are on Parashat Nitzavim, which is the second to last to the book of Deuteronomy, and it starts with these words: Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem, rashechem, shiftechem, ziknechem, v'shotrechem, kol ish Israel. All of you are standing today in the presence of the Eternal One, your God, you leaders and chief men, you elders and officials, and all the other people of Israel. So we are now at the end of the book of Deuteronomy. The entire community of Israel is now standing before the Eternal to enter a covenant with God, just before they have reached already the border with the Promised Land. And Rashi explains that this happened on the day Moses was about to die. So his legacy would remain firm forever. And of course, when I read this, it was impossible not to think about the period of national mourning that finished on Monday with the grand funeral of the late Queen Elizabeth, whom some start to call Elizabeth the Great. Yeah, so this is the press today. So a multitude came to London during the 5 days of the lying state of her late Majesty's coffin. People from all walks of life, from all ages and generations, from all backgrounds, have queued, some up to 24 hours, to spend just a few seconds in front of the coffin, with instruments of state on the top. I watched the live feed. No, I didn't stay for over 5 days, don't worry, but sometimes I had to look at the live feed. And I was really struck by, first, the sheer numbers, the respectful quietness in this very historic Westminster Hall, and also the togetherness expressed by this multitude of anonymous faces. And then, of course, on Monday, the grandiose state funeral with 2,000 distinguished guests at Westminster Abbey and 800 Windsor Castle. And Westminster Abbey, including our own Rabbi Charlie Baginski, who represented liberal Judaism there, with 500 heads of state from the Commonwealth and the whole world. According to the BBC, 5.1 billion people watched the funerals on television, 60% of the world population, for an unprecedented ceremony about one person who was actually widely loved. And it's not about the monarchy, it's about this person. You know, I'm sure you've read many articles, tributes, statements about the period that has just ended. I just wanted to pick on two thoughts that emerged in my head during this time. I was one of the 5 billion who spent almost all the day watching the ceremony. At first I felt a bit ashamed, why are you spending so much time? But then I just couldn't, so I had to stay. So, two thoughts. The first, if you remember when Prince Philip died last year, the Queen said, grief is a price we pay for love. She was our matriarch, mother, grandmother, a maternal figure in a world that is rather ruthless and unkind. Of course, apart from those close to her, nobody can pretend to know exactly what she really thought about the world. How can you know that? But in 70 years of reign, not a misstep, a few small ones, carefully crafted communication with the outside world, all this explains why Elizabeth the Great was much bigger than Elizabeth II, the head of the royal family. Each of us has grieved in their own way, but together as a nation or even as a world, this period of grief forced us to reflect on our relationship with death, on how we cope with loss, on the finitude of life, the aging process, and how we are going to adapt to a new reign that will certainly be very different from the one that has just ended. So this leads to my second point. What have we really buried on Monday? I'd like to read a few passages of the article that Jonathan Freeland, who is actually a member of the Masorti Synagogue in North London, Jonathan Freeland published in The Guardian on Tuesday an article which titled, "Is Elizabeth bound our nation? Without her, will there even be a UK to reign over?" God, wow. So he begins the article with these words: "She was a priceless diplomatic asset and spoke with the moral weight of a wartime generation. Now we must confront the future without her." So I'll just carry on what he said. Elizabeth was the last human link in public life to the Second World War, the foundational event of modern Britain. Our relationship with that epic event becomes more remote now, a matter of history rather than living memory. Along with Elizabeth, we may have buried the post-war era. We will certainly no longer have a head of state who speaks with the moral weight of a wartime generation. That poses a challenge to the monarchy itself, now devoid of what had been its most powerful argument. Much has been said in recent days about the deep, even mystical connection between the people and their sovereign, one that seems rooted in a Britain, or perhaps in England, that goes back 1,000 years. But again, the question looms, was that bond with the institutions of monarchy or with Elizabeth herself? If it was chiefly the latter, with some of the irrationalities, unfairnesses, and costs of the hereditary monarchy now pressed on the public mind in a way that did not while she lived? Most profound of all is the question contained within all the others. Is it possible that in the Windsor vault now lies buried the person who, more than any other, served to cohere these islands? The last 10 days have been a holiday from the usual political polarization. Admiration for the Queen was one of the few things most people could agree on. It's telling that the new king made such early visits to Edinburgh, Belfast and Cardiff. His mother was the glue that bound together the union. If that turns out not to have been the magic of Elizabeth rather than the crown, that it's not clear how long there will be a United Kingdom for Charles to reign over. Even in families that are not royal, funerals serve as a healing event, to be sure, but they can also see the eruption of arguments long postponed. In burying its matriarch, Britain may at last have to confront what has lain buried for so long. And I thought, when I read this article, it's so true. What have we buried now? Well, what's going to happen? So, of course, it's hard to tell what lies ahead of us. Only uncertainty is ever certain. However, we can draw an important lesson from our Torah portion. Moses and Queen Elizabeth share some similarities. Both were instrumental in shaping the persona of the people. Both ruled over their people for a long period. And both were mourned by the people out of a deep love they inspired. After Moses' death, the children of Israel carried on their journey, conquered a new land, wrote a new chapter of their history, and here we are. Our people is here today to bear witness of this history. The same will happen to Britain. We don't know the direction of travel just yet, but we know there is one. We buried a certain idea of Britishness, and a new one will emerge. So let us, as a Jewish community, take our due place in this new chapter of British history. Right. So I can see that Sibyl is there online as well, and Anna, Shabbat Shalom to you. Okay, so the few announcements. There's something happening, of course, that you may be aware of now, starting on Sunday evening. So the Jewish New Year, 5,783. Thank you. So 5,783 after the creation of the world, of some say after the creation of the first human beings. We start on Sunday evening, so we'll have a family service at 5, followed by a Chavura supper at 6. So it's a bit early because we wanted our kids to be able to join this event. So it's not for Beitenu only, so for all the community. So I'm really insisting on that. It's not a family-only event. It's for all the community with the kids. And if you behave, I will tell you a very nice story about an apple tree.
What if we don't behave?
If you don't behave, you go straight into the dinner, and there's no story, no bedtime story. And Monday morning, 10:30, the first day of Rosh Hashanah. So tomorrow morning, there's a short service followed by a study session, because I thought that because we never have a chance to really look at the texts that we read on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, so we will read these texts tomorrow and study them together. And then on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, when we read these texts, you'll have a better, not a better understanding, but you'll think about things that maybe you didn't have a chance or time to do. I think that's it for now. So, yeah. Next Shabbat is Shabbat Shuvah, you know, the Shabbat which is between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So you have to repent. You have to repent a lot. It doesn't, sorry. I can't be serious. Yeah, good. You know, that's the only time of the year that a rabbi can actually have an impact on the community. You are guilty. Right. Okay. Okay, so let's conclude our service now by the full Aleinu on page 520. And if you're not happy, just tell Neil, because Neil loved this prayer. Page 520, 520. Please stand. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, עבד מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Life is finite, like a candle it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty, when it fades. Its substance is consumed and it is no more. Yet we do not despair, for we know that we are more than a flickering flame. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and light, of death and life. And on this Shabbat, we remember Henry Simon, the father of Fleur Standring. Fleur, I wish you a long life. Is there any other name you would like to remember?
Jacqueline Smith and
Okay.
my first one.
Your first wife, yeah. Anyone else? Zichronam livracha, may their memory be a blessing. As we say together on page 524. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתבהר וישתבר ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילם כל ברכתה ושירתה, טוב בכתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. Page 525. אדון עולם אשר מעלה, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נעשה וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא יהיה בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמסחר, ולא העוז והמסחר. והוא אלי וצר גואלי, וצור אבלי בצרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. בידו אפקיר רוחי, בעת אישן ועירה, ועם רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא, אדוני לי ולא אירא. Please stand. בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת אישן ועירה, ועם רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא. Into your hand I place my soul, asleep, awake, for you are near, and with my soul, my body too, you are my God. I shall not fear. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. And Shabbat shalom to you who came online tonight, and I'll see you very soon.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.